It's Halloween at Freddy's. All guests have arrived. Everyone's dying to meet you, so won't you spend the night? Join us, welcome on your friend. Come on, let's begin. There's no time to waste. It is me, Freddy. I hope you're ready. Let's go to the chase.
Halloween Ends is a 2022 slasher film starring Jamie Lee Curtis, James Jude Courtney, Andy Matichak, and Rohan Campbell. It tells the story of Laurie Strode as she struggles to move on with her life and forget about Michael Myers. However, unfortunately, Michael Myers does return, and Laurie vows to bring him to an end. So we open up with Corey Cunningham. He is getting ready to take care of this little boy for this rich family. And obviously this rich family is looking like they're going out to some kind of festivity. They're doing some kind of dinner or party, because that's what rich people do when they're not worrying about their money. So they hire Corey to take care of their son. So their son starts watching a scary movie. He wants to watch a creature feature. So they're eating candy and they're watching a scary movie. And so finally, Corey gets up to go do something, and then he comes back and the kid's gone. However, the front door is open. He shuts the door and then he starts wandering around with a knife, thinking that somebody has intruded on the house. He gets into the attic and the door slams. Turns out the kid is actually an asshole and has locked Corey inside of the attic. He angrily tries to get the kid to open the door, and the parents come home early. And they hear everything that's going on, and finally the kid lets go. Corey kicks the door open. The kid is sent flying into the railing of the upper level. He flies over said railing and lands on the first floor hard. In a horror, Corey looks down at the grieving family and is sent to prison. However, it is revealed that he actually got let out because it was just an accident, and probably deemed manslaughter. After a really awesome title sequence, we get to see what Laurie Strode's been up to. She's actually started her own life, and she's not so much a scary, creepy person that's obsessed with defeating Michael Myers anymore, more or less just trying to live her life and move on. And I find this is really cool, and I like this for Laurie Strode. I think that she deserves to have this as a character that's been really haunted by Michael Myers for many, many years. It's nice to see her finally doing regular things instead of worrying about this masked individual coming to kill her and her family. But the one thing I do have to say about the scene, as much as I like it and I think it's wholesome, at the end of the movie, at the end of Halloween Kills, we get to see that Laurie actually seems pretty pissed off because Michael has just killed her daughter. So, she seems to be like, I'm gonna get you, Michael. And then we come to the next film and she's just living her own life. It's like, okay, what happened to I'm coming for you, Michael? What about your daughter's life? Doesn't that mean anything? It's like they glazed over this entire plot point, pushing forward into this new movie. It's like, does your daughter's life mean nothing to you? That you're just gonna move on? Just like that? Something interesting, too, is that other people seem to know that Laurie has kind of moved on from Michael Myers, because she runs into a couple of people and they say you angered a disabled man, and when he attacked, you screamed. And so people are just kind of giving her shit because they blame her for everything that happened with Michael Myers. But I mean, the guy is a serial killer. He was gonna kill anyway, despite what Laurie Strode did. So obviously this makes Laurie, feel somewhat guilty. However, we do cut to Corey Cunningham. He is just a pretty sad individual, I gotta say here. He lives at his mom's house, his mom and dad's house. They're pretty, I wouldn't say they're mean, but they're definitely very clingy and just very, very weird, to say the least. He works at a junkyard fixing cars as a mechanic. And he's often bullied because everybody blames him, much like Laurie, for the thing that happened with that little boy. And it was obviously an accident. He didn't mean to kill this kid. He was just trying to get out of the closet that this guy locked him into. So, obviously he's dealing with his own things, but he's very scared, and he's very awkward. That's the best way I can describe his character. And his actor does a great job of portraying this. He gets a new motorcycle from his work boss, and he gets rid of his bicycle. Now he gets jumped by a couple kids at the corner store because he won't get them beer, and he gets mad. Now after he gets jumped by these kids, he gets jumped by them several times throughout the movie. They actually end up almost killing him. They throw him off of the overpass, and he lands underneath the bridge of the overpass, where something pulls him into the sewer. This thing is revealed to be a very injured Michael, so when he got ganged up by those people at the end of Halloween Kills, he managed to get away somehow and fled into the sewers, and he is very, very injured, and he's very weak. He grabs Corey and chokes him out, and then we see something weird as Corey looks into Michael's eyes, a psychopath, of his evil eyes. We get to see some kind of it seems like he gives Corey his powers, and you'll see what I mean later, but we basically see all the guilty things that Corey feels like he's responsible for. But then we also see the evil things that Michael has done, and they're converging. And after this, Corey's not the same. He's not the same awkward, scared, sad person that we see. He's starting to take on more of a malevolent nature. Corey actually starts dating Allison, and the weird thing about Allison and Corey's relationship is it almost seems to be built on a hate. Allison is just kind of being an edgy teenager and just rebelling, and then we have Corey, who's just basically Michael Myers at this point, a creepy dude. And so they basically talk about how they're gonna leave Haddonfield and all that jazz, and he starts slipping further into madness, and Michael Myers basically kind of trains him, I guess, how to be evil. It's a really weird thing. I personally think that the whole giving this little kid, this teenage boy, Michael Myers powers is a weird concept, but it's new. It's new for a Halloween film. I've never seen this done in previous films. So, basically Corey becomes Michael's lackey, and they go on serial killings together, which is really messed up. Laurie soon figures out that Corey is changing. She tries to warn Allison and tells her that she doesn't want her to hang out with that boy anymore. And Allison, rebelling like usual, says, "No, I like him. He makes me feel happy, and I don't want to be trapped in your never-ending cycle of delusions." So she goes to be with him, and Laurie still tries to convince Allison that he's on a dark path and he's gonna do evil things. Allison still continues not to listen, and Corey and Allison continue dating, and they're really weird, kind of angry, but at the same time romantic relationship. As time goes by, Corey slips further and further into madness, diverging from what originally made Corey, and becoming more akin to Michael Myers himself. And he starts to hallucinate Laurie Strode talking to him and telling him that he's on a dark path, and that I've only tried to save you, I've only tried to help you. And so at this point he believes that Laurie is trying to kill him. However, this never actually happened. Laurie never actually kidnapped him and took him to the empty house of where everything that he feels guilty about went down. She never took him there. He just woke up there for some random reason. He never saw Laurie, at least not in this part of the movie. So when he fights Laurie seems surprised to see Corey dressed as Michael killing her, and even encourages him to finish the job. So we know that scene with Laurie talking to him and trying to help him was all just an illusion. When I say that Laurie seemed surprised to see him, I mean this in a very specific way. Laurie was surprised to see that he was actually coming to her house to kill her. She half expected it, but she didn't think something like that would actually happen, that he wouldn't go that far. Laurie pretends to commit suicide as she shoots a pumpkin. The gunshot sounds very realistic and very gory. However, when Corey opens the door dressed as Michael, he is met with Laurie armed with a pistol. She sets off multiple shots to his leg as well as his chest. He falls down the stairs, and while he is dying, he says, "I told you, if I can't have Allison, no one can." He cuts himself in the throat, instantly killing himself. Laurie is freaked out by this and removes the knife from Corey's neck. However, Allison walks in just as this is happening and believes Laurie to have killed Corey. So she runs away. However, as she is driving away, she calls the police officer who Laurie is in a relationship with, and they say, "Oh, well, we just responded to a suicide call from Laurie." And this is when Allison realizes, "Oh my God, I've been an asshole this whole movie. I gotta go back and help my aunt, help my grandma." Laurie, an emotional mess at this point, has a little panic attack in the corner, holding on to a knife very tightly. But then she stops and listens. She hears some movement in the house, and it couldn't be Corey because Corey's dead, very dead in fact. And this is where she realizes that the big boy, he back. So she goes into the kitchen, and Michael appears, and they get into a horrendously violent fight. Like, Michael is stabbing Laurie, and Laurie is like shooting Michael and cutting him up, and she finally ends up getting Michael pinned to the kitchen table with some knives and starts basically pinning him to the table with these knives. Michael gets his hand free, literally ripping the flesh off of his hand just to get free. He grabs at Laurie, starts grabbing her neck, and Laurie's like, finish it. And then finally, Allison walks in the door just as Michael is about to kill Laurie, and Allison's like, "No, I won't let this happen to you." And so she basically grabs Michael by his arm, snaps it over the table, stabs his arm into the thing, and basically they unmask Michael. Michael's just this wrinkly old beat up man. Oh, he's finally dead. Laurie and Allison defeat Michael, and they're like, "Okay, he's dead, but he's not dead enough. We need to show the town that there's nothing to be scared of anymore. Michael Myers is dead." So they gather everybody up and they go to the scrapyard where Corey used to work before he got killed by Laurie. So they take Michael over there. They take him to a industrial compactor and basically turn him into evil hamburgers. You get to taste evil today. So with Michael being a pile of minced meat under an industrial car grinder, the people of Haddonfield can finally rest in peace, knowing that Michael will never return to wreak havoc on their town once again. And Laurie and Allison basically have a happy ever after. We get treated to what they're up to since the events of that fateful night where Michael was killed. And then we cut to a shot of Allison and Laurie's house. There's sun shining through the windows, everything is bright and cheerful. There's no sound, no nothing, just serenity. Then we cut to the credits. Now, I'm not sure what this means, if it just means that, everything is peaceful and everything's serene now. The storm has passed, the storm being Michael Myers, and everybody can live in peace and quiet. Or if it has something more of a sinister undertone. Let me know what you guys think about this. But if I had to say one critical thing, or multiple critical things in this case, about this film, with how much I did enjoy it, I do have to say, for this being a Michael Myers movie, Michael really didn't have much to do in this film. It was mostly just Corey dressed up as Michael. Michael Myers, I'd say, had only 15 minutes screen time out of a 2-hour movie. Another thing I have to really say is just the kind of weird transition from Halloween Kills to Halloween Ends, where Laurie seems to end the film off looking actively to fight Michael, and then when we get to this movie, for her to basically just be living her own life. Another weird thing about this film is that Allison was just kind of salty for no reason throughout the whole movie. But nonetheless, I did enjoy the film. I thought it was awesome, and it's a solid end to the Halloween franchise. And I know that there's going to be critics out there that hate this movie just because they can, and hey, they get paid to talk shit about movies anyway. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed my look into Halloween Ends. I thought it was a great way to end the franchise. And with that, happy haunts, and I'll see you in the next frightfully fun Halloween video. Do take care.